Hi everybody! Since a lot of you haven't been able to visit us this year at Goodwin State Forest, we thought it would be a great idea for us to bring the forest to you. My name is Meg, I'm the new naturalist here at Goodwin, and I thought it would be fun to teach you a little bit about finding nature in your own backyard and at local forests and parks. One of the most important things to know before you go exploring nature is how to avoid two things: ticks and poison ivy. To keep ticks from biting you, wear long socks, always stay on the trail, put bug spray on, and check yourself for ticks thoroughly when you go inside. To avoid poison ivy, keep your eyes out for a plant with 3 leaves. In the spring, they'll usually look red and shiny. The leaves have jagged edges and pointed tips, and the stem is usually hairy. If you come in contact with poison ivy, make sure you wash it off right away with soap and water, otherwise you might get a really itchy rash. Wearing tall socks will also help you keep poison ivy off your legs, but if it gets on your socks, make sure to throw them in the laundry right away. Now on to the fun part. One of my favorite ways to explore nature is to find somewhere quiet to sit for a little while and just listen. You'll be amazed at what you can hear in just 15 seconds. Now that we know for sure that there's wildlife around us, let's go look for some clues as to where they might be. Some animals you might not even know are in your backyard until you see some evidence of them. One really cool example are these weird dirt paths in the grass. These are actually mole or vole tunnels. In the winter, they tunnel in the dirt beneath the snow, and then when the snow melts, these paths are all that's left. Another clue that there's wildlife living nearby are piles of seeds and nuts. If you ever find a pile like this, you're probably finding a squirrel's lunch. Or if you find some pine cones or nuts hidden in a hole in the ground or a tree, you probably found a stash from a squirrel or a mouse. They hide these so that they have plenty of food for the winter and spring when there's not as many seeds and nuts in the trees. Sometimes you'll find evidence of animals after they've already died. A lot of us have deer living in our backyards, but they're very quiet and shy, so we don't often get to see them. However, sometimes we'll find their bones in the woods or on low-lying branches. If you put on some gloves, you can pick up the bones and look for signs of other animals. Coyotes, bobcats, and fisher cats will all leave teeth marks on any bones that they chew. Other animals are even easier to find. Birds are everywhere. And if you're really quiet or you stand behind a bird blind like this one, they can get really close to you and be easy to see. Or if you have a bird feeder, you can watch from behind a window or at a short distance. Bird feeders are really great because they attract a huge variety of native and visiting birds. Frogs are one of my favorite animals to find in nature, and they're probably one of the easiest to find if you have a pond or swamp nearby. Frogs prefer water that doesn't move very fast, so instead of looking in fast-moving rivers and streams, focus your search on small ponds and swamps. Frogs will usually be sitting on the edges of the water hunting flies. And on spring nights, you'll usually hear them ribbiting loudly to each other. If you see frogs in the spring, you should also take a close look at the water they live in. You might just see tadpoles, baby frogs. The frogs will lay their eggs in the early spring in these little clumps that look like jelly, and then they'll hatch out in a few weeks into little legless tadpoles. And some of them, within a year, will grow legs and hop out of the water, and some of them, like bullfrogs, will take over a year to become frogs. If you don't have a calm pond or a swamp nearby you, don't worry, there's still plenty of wildlife to be found. Big ponds, lakes, and rivers are full of fish. And those baby fish, or fry, hang out in the shallow water near the edges. So if you look close, you can usually find some fish schooling nearby. But be careful and don't let your shadow go over the water. It might spook them away. Now, it's your turn. Go into your backyard or local park and see what signs of wildlife you can find. And don't forget to share them with your friends, family, and us here at Goodwin. Have fun!